So this was my first 3x3 key run. This is Pandemonium Event. Key of Hatred, Key of Terror, Key of Destruction. You can collect them from very specific bosses, or of course in Project D2, which is what we're running, you can collect them in maps. There's certain map events where you can get a bunch of keys to fall. Not the little keys, the big keys. And you use one of each to access a random area, and as you can see here, I'm running a random area, which is the Forgotten Tower, the Black Marsh. Of course, this is significantly harder. Here's Lilith. Lilith herself from D4. You fight her in D2 first in the Pandemonium Event. Of course, being Project D2, she has even more mods and is even tankier than normal because you have more stash space for more charms in the game. You have corruptions. It's a significantly improved version of D2, Project D2. And it's a improved version of D2R because they actually add the terror zones and they add everything else that was added to D2R, the new rune words. Old graphics, but everything else upgraded. Now, here's Diablo's Horn. That's what I got for beating that one. Now, of course, the second 2x2, it's all random. Forgotten Sands happened to hit first. And here we are. We're going to go fight Duriel. Of course, we have to find him first. This is my kicks in. Kicks were changed in Project D2. You can't do like 7 kicks in a row. You don't have to worry about leveling the kicks too high. And kicks synergize with other skills, which upgrade the kicks. You only get 3 kicks per attack. There are big fat changes when it comes to D2R, or excuse me, not D2R, Project D2. And they're for the better. Sorry, I'm fucking drunk when I'm writing this. Not writing it, I'm just talking. Anyway, I'm watching myself play. And so here's Duriel. And as you can tell, he's freezing me, even though I have a Raven's Frost and I'm freeze immune. It's cursed. And my Merc just like died because he was frozen. He couldn't leech fast enough. Even with all the IAS I stacked on him. He drops Bale's Eye. That's ingredient number 2. Now, you want to, in the same game, of course, run the third set of keys. A set of 3x3 keys is about a Vex. This is Furnace of Pain. This is where we fight Izual, the angel who spawns in here. This is basically Abaddon, right? In Abaddon, you fight Izual. Quite interesting. Oh, by the way, right here, look. My reses are fucked. Not because they're fucked, but because it's just harder than normal. There's just some mods going on in this Pandemonium Event. Now, I don't know if those are Pandemonium Event mods, because I never actually ran the Pandemonium Event in D2 Classic or D2R. But as you can tell, my reses are actually capped at 75 on this character. It's just, they do these curses on you. They do these debuffs on you. So, this one's not so bad. None of these are that bad. It's actually only bad when you get to Tristram. I'm running a Stormlash, that's why you have tornadoes coming out of my soul as I kick. And I'm doing a really weird setup where I'm not doing Death Sentry because Death Sentry was nerfed in Project D2. Project D2 is basically as if D2 had continued on its natural process if it had never gone away, if just D2 kept going forever and they kept initiating updates every couple of months. And as you can tell, you cannot just transmute these 3. You have to use a plain little key. When you put a plain little key in there with these ingredients, you'll get the Pandemonium Talisman for Tristram, which you could actually sell. These are all itemizable and sellable. I keep the Bartuks around. By the way, you wonder why? It's because I don't have enough strength to equip all my gear if I die. If I happen to die, I need to use that to get my strength up to re-equip my gear. And then the gear gives me the strength back. Now you walk over to the Blood Fountain. You activate it. We have not one in this event, in this case. We actually have 4 portals. This is the first, and then we have 3 additional portals. Who are we fighting? Mephisto. We're fighting Diablo. Not Black Diablo / Diablo clone, who's sometimes called Diablo. We're fighting real Diablo. And right here it was fucked because Diablo and Mephisto spawned overlapped, so I had to split them up, and that's the most important tip I can give you, right? Split them up. Now, if you actually read through patch notes and so on for Project D2, the Pandemonium Event is much harder than it used to be, and Mephisto does this curse which gives like minus 125 to all res, which is really fucked, and that's why my Merc's died, even though he's an Act 5 Merc with Leech. Project D2 said, hey, we're not going to add Sunder Charms and we're not going to make all the Merc changes, but we're going to add even more Mercs, so you have these Act 4 Mercs, and we're going to upgrade Mercs across the board from the original D2, but they're going to keep the paradigm of Act 5 Mercs. Mercenaries do not have the ability to dual wield like in D2 Resurrected. They cannot do that. It's very much the classic D2 feel. Now, as you can see, I died. There's really no shame in dying in here. I've got lots of purple drank because that's very important. I bought a mal of purple drank. What does that give you? It gives you an entire tab. 125 purple drank for one mal. Not a bad deal. I did it because it's like, I'm fucked. Even though I have generally a good build, I wouldn't even quite call it mediocre. It's better than mediocre. It's a Kixin. It's situationally changed because in D2R and in Classic D2, Death Sentry does like 40% of corpse life damage, and in this one it does 5%. It was nerfed so bad it doesn't even send the lightning bolts. And then they added chain lightning as a trap, which is even better. But I didn't want to go that route, and so I experimented around multiple setups, and I decided to go with these Blade Sentinels for my right click, which gives me range, and then my left click is just Dragon Talon. Now here's Uber Bale. He's not so shabby, he's not so bad. I did have to feed my Merc quite a bit, but got him down not too bad. Now we're looking for Black Soul Stones, which are number one, declone ingredients, because declone is not just a matter of vendoring storing at Jordan's anymore. You have to collect all the map pieces for declone, and I'll post a video on that soon. And declone's gonna be much harder. I've fought declone many times, and he's fine. He's not that bad, especially solo. But I'm playing Project D2 while waiting for Path of Exile 2, as a lot of us are. Could have played Last Epoch, but I took a hiatus from that. Went back to this. Viper went into this, and we've just been playing this for a while. And it's an opportunity to try some content I haven't tried before. Now you'll see, this is not normal, right? This is not a traditional D2 fight against Diablo. I do have Crushing Blow, I have open wounds, I have all kind of things. I look so weak in here. Before I ran this, I actually looked up references. I bailed here, look, I just ran like a bitch. But I did look up references. And most people use teleport in here, and they have these very specific setups, but I just wanted to try it with my own character setup. So here I am. The kicks, traps, and of course we're casting Venom for poison. We have Grand Charms giving us just, basically we do poison, we do lightning, and we do physical. And we do a little bit of cold, and we don't do any fire. And that's nice because all of that allows us to fight any immunes. You don't have to worry about it. We also don't need a Merc that has to cut immunities. And also, being melee, we don't have to worry about rainbow facets. And Sundered Charms do not exist in Project D2. They say one of the harder endgame boss fights is Uber Mephisto. I was very happy to get him down right there. Now, nothing has dropped yet just because of my RNG. So I'm going to now, of course, finish off Pandemonium Diablo and see what we can get. And hope we get a Black Soul Stone. And hope the video comes to an end one of these days, because I literally recorded it while half drunk. And then edited it while 3/4 drunk, and now I'm just recording it while drunk. It's Thanksgiving in the US, and I had so much fucking food for lunch that I didn't even have dinner. I just had beer for dinner. So here I am. What's nice, of course, is splash damage. You get splash damage in Project D2, which allows melee to be. That was such a simple and fantastic fix for making melee viable and comparable to spells in D2. I've been in Kixin a few times. I did a Magic Find Kixin as well as a Classic Kixin setup. This is sort of leaning toward the classic. Here's my last portal. Last portal. Gotta do it. Well, he was close, so... Spoiler alert, we do it. Let's see what falls, right? And there we go. Now, as you can see, of course, what happens with any Pandemonium event, you get an unidentified Hellfire Torch. And you get... and I happen to finally get this, which is what I really wanted. That's worth a Vex just by itself. And I'm happy because I wanted to later try Declone. To try for an Annihilus roll. What was the Hellfire Torch? It was a Barb Torch, which is not perfect, not highest value, but a torch is a torch. No. Will I post a build guide for this character? Maybe. I might as well.